All right, we're back after a very unsuccessful outing on week one. I can't believe we're showing our faces on here again. I mean, that
Yeah,
was an
yeah,
embarrassing outing.
yeah. That was not good. That was Hey, it's week one though, and in this day and age, less predictability. You got teams with 70 new players on their roster, trying to figure it out, whatnot. We got a few games right, a few games wrong, but you always, just like every team in college football, you always got to hope to improve as the year goes on, and you start to learn more about each team.
It's only up from here. I mean, there's a lot of teams you're still trying to find out their identity. I mean, you can only get that down to a T so much, but
Yeah,
especially when you have all these rank on ranks going on. I mean, you don't really know who's who. So it's week one was bad for me last year as well. It was bad for me this year too. And as the season goes on, most teams continue to form into what they're going to be, but then some of them, I mean, there's always those unpredictable, just animal teams out there.
yeah. Well, I think that it's probably a good thing that we didn't do good, considering that Lee Corso went 6 for 6, and the Corso parlay would have smacked. So if 85-year-old Lee Corso is getting it right with as blind as a bat, then all respects to Lee Corso, the great Lee Corso, but it was definitely time.
Yes.
But that childhood's over, Lee Corso headgear over, but I mean. I think we put a little bit more time into figuring out rosters and whatnot than Lee Corso has. I don't want to assume things, but I'm just guessing.
I think sometimes we just got to take like that like approach to fantasy football or the brackets where like you pick by feeling or you pick by mascot or by color. Like I think we got to start to go by that because that seems to work out more. The people actually dive into the analytics and the research. Right? We kind of get fucked. It's
Yeah,
insane.
I'm telling you, man. Like I thought I was gonna have a perfect bracket. Watched a million college basketball games, everything, and then first game of the year, every single year, you're out of there.
And it collapsed. This year, I got the Final Four almost spot on, but everything else was chaos around it. Now there was a game last year. Turn the calendar back. I was in Tuscaloosa at this time last year, and you want to talk unpredictability. Anybody in their right mind would have picked Ole Miss to beat Kentucky convincingly, especially in Oxford or next to the Grove. If you would have
Oh
expected
yeah,
that, but Kentucky walked into Ole Miss's trap and took over their trap last year. And now the Rebs get their revenge game up in Lexington, up in Kroger Fields this Saturday. This is Ole Miss's first real test. We're opening SEC play this weekend. We opened it this weekend last year as well. I believe it was Kentucky with South Carolina last year. We're starting SEC play. This is like they say with Delmonico Steakhouse in upstate New York. This is where it gets good. Uh,
that's right. That's right.
this is where it gets good, baby. You got Ole Miss traveling up to Lexington, looking to avenge this loss from last year. I will say, Kroger Field historically is one of those venues where top 25 teams and teams have large point spreads over the Wildcats struggle.
Oh yeah,
You see
absolutely.
it happen with Georgia a couple times. So we saw LSU go down in this game back in 07.
Oh yeah.
This is a real trap place up in Kentucky. The main thing with Kentucky, though, and you just mentioned it a few minutes ago, they're one of those teams have a bunch of new players, 50 to be exact. They have
Yeah.
50 new guys on their 85-man scholarship roster this year. So this is a completely changed, completely overhauled Kentucky team. They've got the 8th-year Zach Calzada as their quarterback who torched Alabama back in 2021. I'll never forget that name.
Yeah.
Then Ole Miss is one of those teams. They've got their share of turnover, but I think Austin Simmons is an absolute beast. He looks surgical. I think this may be the best quarterback Ole Miss has seen in the past decade. Definitely under Lane Kiffin, I think he is. I will say I think he'll be better than Jackson Dart at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You've got Caden Lee out there, Harrison Wallace, defense. We've got Southern Perkins.
Yeah.
A lot of really good things for the Rebs. I think they've got superior roster, and I think they've got the edge in this game.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. One thing about Simmons is he did have 2 interceptions last week against Georgia State. So it's his first game, but he's also Kiffin wants him to push the ball down the field. That's how Kiffin is with his quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
he's willing. I mean, it's not like it was going to make or break the game with them. So Kiffin's kind of pushing him, seeing what he can do, seeing his limits, trying to gauge for a game like this. And it is a revenge game. And you go up to Kroger Field. I've been up there before. Beautiful campus. It does get loud. I'll say we sat up in the top section of Kroger Field, and you can look out. It was autumn. It was, I think, I believe, a November game, early November game a few years ago for Alabama. It was one of the most beautiful settings ever I've been to. Really, it was. And I'm just gonna say right now, Kentucky is a basketball school, but when those fans believe in their football team, it really is just something special. One thing for Kentucky that I just really don't like is Calzada.
Mm.
He didn't look good. He went 10 for 23, and they beat Toledo 24-16 last week. Um, I know everybody was on their mother was on Toledo to lose by less than 10 and a half. I thought they were going to keep it close too. They had Vander Ross at wide receiver. I really do like this Kentucky team. Maybe later in the year, like you said though, too many new guys. Stoops, Kiffin, give or take. I think Kiffin's a better coach, anyways. I think Ole Miss defense is very improved this year. I think it's only gotten better throughout the Kiffin era, and I do like Ole Miss to kind of roll in there. And I think it could be close early on, and it's Simmons' first true road game. Um, First half could be close, but I like Ole Miss to win probably 37-17, something around there.
Yes, I'm going Ole Miss to win as well. I mean, they've got a fast-paced offense. I think that they're going to keep Kentucky on their toes all afternoon. They're
Yeah,
going to have quick drives, going to be like very lightning strike type offense, quick hitter. Then it's Ole Miss -10.
yeah.
That's the current line right now. I like the Rebs to win this thing. I'm going to say 41-20. I think that they avenge this thing pretty good.
A key to success for Kentucky is going to be shrinking the game. They're gonna have to dominate time of possession and keep
Yeah.
Ole Miss's offense off the field. The only way they're going to be able to do that is to get that run game going to take some pressure off of Calzada and rely on the defense that really held. I think for a Group of Five team an above average Toledo offense to 16 points last week and really 14 because there's a safety involved too. So I think that I think Kentucky does have a shot, but it's going to come down to shrinking the game and limiting turnovers. And Calzada's not been known to do that very well. So,
Well, and that's going to be the theme for a few of these matchups we're talking about.
absolutely,
This
absolutely,
weekend when it comes to getting an advantage because Ole Miss, from a roster standpoint, really does outmatch Kentucky on
absolutely.
pretty much every facet of the game. And so this is one of those, and Kentucky did this last year.
Yeah,
Time of possession, they held on that ball for a while last
Yeah.
year. Like they had long, methodical drives, and they generated turnovers. Got good field possession good field position, excuse me. And when they had opportunities, they capitalized. And if
yeah.
you're a team like Kentucky in this position, that's what you have to do. That's why I'll never say a team is completely. It's never
Oh
completely
no,
impossible for you to win, but that's in reality what you have to do if you're Kentucky. So for that reason, Ole Miss getting their revenge. That's gonna be the mentality. Like you said, Austin Simmons threw a few picks last weekend. You may see one or two on Saturday, but he takes risks. I still think that he's gonna be a little too much. I like Ole Miss in this spot.
I'm with you right there. Ole Miss rolls.
Now we've got a bit of a closer matchup here. Historically, this thing is always between 3 or 4 points. It's a one-score game. Up in Ames, Iowa.
Oh yeah, I've
The
got a few
Sidewalk
things.
rivalry has been renewed, baby. Iowa and Iowa State. This game was a thriller last year. Was not talked about enough. Very
It's always
underrated
a
game
thriller.
last year.
Always a thriller.
I think it was 20-19.
Yeah,
Iowa
always a
State. I want
thriller.
to say this game is always a banger, and the hatred that exists between these two is real. And
It's underrated. The hate between these two schools is very underrated. A very underrated rivalry right here between two honestly historically good programs.
they live for this shit. I mean, they're
Iowa
and
more than Iowa State, but
both. Hey man, Iowa State's been positioned better recently.
right. I'm just saying historically, Iowa definitely takes the cake, but
I mean, Iowa's one of those perennial teams. They've had Kirk Ferentz for like 5 decades now. I mean, I know I'm exaggerating there, but when you have that kind of continuity,
You know he's one win away from breaking Woody Hayes' record for the all-time winningest Big Ten coach of the year, or all-time winningest Big Ten coach ever. He's at
Well,
200. He's at 205 wins right now. He needs this game to get to 206.
I think Iowa's gonna like my prediction then.
I do. I might be on the same side as you. We'll have to find out.
Let's get into this puppy here. So Iowa State, I will say going into this game, one thing I will give them, they have the quarterback advantage.
Oh, by far.
I love Rocco Beck. I think he's great. Mark Gronowski, the South Dakota transfer. I mean, he hasn't. He didn't show a lot last week. I mean, he had less than 50 passing yards.
Yeah, I mean that's an Iowa game though. He only threw the ball like 14 times.
It was unbelievable. It was like he went like 8 for 14. I want to say, and don't hold me to that verbatim. But when I was doing the research last night, yeah, not a lot of attempts at all. He was playing my Albany Great Danes, by the way. Albany is like 25 minutes down the road from me, where I'm from originally.
Okay, well,
they keep the on them, but you know,
Albany covered the spread.
That's worth. They covered the spread, baby.
39.5 for an Iowa game.
I know they pissed a lot of people off with that one.
Yeah,
but Iowa, this run game, I will say, looked scary against Albany. I mean, they've got a great push up front, per usual, and so it doesn't really matter what they have and Mark Gronowski. Mark Gronowski, in theory, he does not have to do much.
No,
he really doesn't. He just has to hand off and trust. And Iowa's one of those teams. They're going to play with time possession, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to eat up the clock. They're going to have long drives.
They're going to punt the ball.
Punt the ball. They're going to be gritty to drive on third down, fourth down. I mean, they always keep this game within reach. And I know that they're going to frustrate Iowa State with a lot of the looks that they're going to get on Saturday. Because Iowa State has looked good offensively, but, you know, they definitely had their ups and downs. And so if Iowa State gets into a rut, I think that Iowa is just one of those teams that can frustrate you, you know, when you're not getting the looks that you want. That if Iowa can make this game the way they want it to be, and I think they're going to be able to, they're going to win this thing. Here's a little stat here: for the last 5 times the game's been played, it's been a 1-score game.
Yeah,
and I think you're going to get another one this Saturday. And it's also they've flip-flopped these past several years. It's like 1 year Iowa State wins, and another year Iowa wins. So flip-flop all over the place with this game. I will say, though, Iowa State, they're being favored by Vegas right now, -2.5. I like the Hawkeyes to win this thing. There's just a feeling in my gut right now that Iowa is going to win this thing 22-20.
I am going to maybe argue against myself here first. I think there's one big key to the game for this game for me is turnovers. We saw Iowa State very sloppy in Ireland. I know it's a week 0 game, and they managed to survive it and get through those turnovers. But if you think Kansas State's defense is going to force turnovers, get ready for a Kirk Ferentz defense. These guys are hunting. They're hunting the ball. And you got the corn-fed boys up front. Oh, man, you know what you're getting. 310 rushing yards on the ground last week against Albany.
Oh, yeah.
That is a lot. I mean, that is domination up front. And you know, people are going to say, oh, they can't score enough. I could see Iowa having the ball for 38 minutes and maybe only scoring 3 points this game. I think there's 3 players for Iowa State that I really want to highlight. One is Gabe Burkle, the tight end. Benjamin Brahmer, the tight end, who had 2 receiving touchdowns last week. And Abu Sama, who I've been waiting for him to come alive for a year now. He was great last year. He's called the Kansas State Killer for what it's worth. But those 2 tight ends, while they're great on the passing game, they're going to have to man up and block somebody because Iowa State's going to be coming right at those guys. They're going to make them feel you. I mean, that's how Iowa plays. That's Iowa football right there. You know what you're going to get. So I'm right there with you. I think Iowa wins this game 16-10. I think they make Iowa State uncomfortable. I think this is a low-scoring game, and I think this game might be 0-0 at halftime.
Oh, Could you imagine? But I can so picture that happening now.
And I'll say this: I did not watch Iowa Albany last week. That was not the highlight of my weekend. But I don't even have to watch. I don't even have to watch the game to know how it looked.
I mean, that's what they do. They frazzle you. Iowa gets you out of sorts. That's what well coached physical teams do. With them them corn fed boys up front, and then you had a key term right there: time of possession. Time of possession
That's right.
going to determine this game. And this was a very wonky back and forth game last year. I think you can have some wonky trends in this one as well.
Yeah.
Iowa State taking a big lead and losing it. Iowa taking a big lead and losing it. It getting close towards the ends. It's going to be a weird way to get to the finish line on Saturday, but nonetheless, we're going to get there. And I think it's Iowa State who crosses it first.
Yeah,
Or,
I agree.
forgive me, Iowa who crosses
I
it
think
first.
I think Iowa gets there, and what a way for Kirk Ferentz to get to be the all-time winningest coach in Big Ten history, beating your in-state rival in Ames, Iowa. It's just a storyline that you can't make up.
It's absolutely unreal. I mean, I like to keep it baseline and subjective in the show, not pick sides. But as a consumer of the game, I mean, I've been literally watching Kirk Ferentz as Iowa's head coach for my entire life.
Yeah, same. And he has never changed one bit.
You want to talk hallmark of consistency. That's him. That's that program. You know who they're going to get. You know what you're going to get out of them every time. It's not sexy, but it's Iowa. And
that's right.
The job done. All right. Speaking of getting the job done, will it be SMU or Baylor who gets the job done on Saturday? We've got a little in-state battle taking place here in Texas, right out I-30 from me here, at Gerald Ford Stadium. SMU and Baylor. Now, this one's interesting to me because not only as a team, but as a program, Baylor is going into this game in wounded animal mode.
Oh, yeah.
Coming off of that loss to Auburn. It's one of those games. It was a flip a coin game. We said that last week. If Auburn won, I wouldn't be surprised. If they won this thing 38-34, if they won 30-28, 20-24-20, wouldn't have been surprised at all. And I wouldn't freak out if you're Baylor. But it's the way that they lost this game by multiple possessions. Your run defense just getting absolutely shredded.
I mean,
exposed at home. First drive or two looked all right. After that, it was just complete and utter implosion from Baylor.
Yeah.
And that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing. I got called out by a lot of Auburn fans for
me as well.
Enough credit. I think I did. I said a lot of nice things about Jackson Arnold and how they performed. They look good. But I had to call Baylor out last week. That was embarrassing. But with that said, it's only one game. How do you put that behind you and use that as a lesson here to rebound? And that run defense may be bad enough to not be able to salvage this year. We don't know. We'll see that on Saturday. You're not getting a mobile guy quite to the extent of Jackson Arnold and Kevin Jennings.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage. But you are getting a fast, quick tempo team in SMU who's going to keep you on your toes. And Kevin Jennings is great in the pocket. Great pocket passer. Great dissecting defenses last year. I think that this game is going to be a shootout. If there's any game I look at this weekend and I say shootout, it's this one. I think this is going to be back and forth and back and forth. Could be in the 30s, could be in the 40s here. It's going to be a wildly entertaining game. But in Dallas, at Gerald Ford, SMU's -3. I'm going to say give me the Mustangs, 41-35.
This is a game that I looked at, and I said, when I was looking at the spread for this game, I was like, this is pretty low. When I looked at this game, I was expecting it to be closer to 12.5, 13.5 maybe for the Mustangs. That high. I know it's an in-state battle, and I know Baylor just got embarrassed, but like you said, 300 plus rushing yards given up on the ground last week to Jackson Arnold. I know Jennings isn't going to do that. And it wasn't like the pass rush was bad all game. Arnold just made some plays, Another Auburn connection with SMU with Rhett Lashley at head coach. I believe he was a Malzahn kind of protege. Kind of learning that he kind of runs a similar offense to what Malzahn does. One guy for SMU that I'm really excited to see is TJ Harden, the UCLA transfer. I watched him last year and he was great, man. He's just a great runner, runs physical, runs hard. I think it's going to be difficult for Baylor to stop that, and I am firmly on the Dave Aranda on fire seat right now. He is in trouble. This doesn't get any easier with SMU. I could see a letdown though, maybe because SMU got in the playoffs last year. There's a lot to be made about how easy their schedule was and whether or not they should have been in it or not, and they got unfortunately embarrassed in Happy Valley. But yeah, I'm also with you on this one. I think SMU wins by a wider margin. I think Baylor's going to come out hungry. I think they're going to fight hard. I think SMU's got a better roster. Romello Brinson, the Miami transfer at wide receiver. I think it's hard. This one's hard for me to put a score on. I had a couple numbers in mind. One of them wants me to go like 51 to like 35, and another part of me wants to be like, nah, keep it simple, 34-27. So I'll go right in the middle and go 42. I'll go 42-31 SMU.
We're like right in the same ballpark, but both a 40 and 30 score. Yours a little
Yeah.
bit apart. Now, one thing I will say, I like to commend Baylor last week because there was a bright spot, and that bright spot was Sawyer Robertson.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, and I feel bad for him because if there's any quarterback out there this year that's going to, I think, absolutely ball out, kind of like a Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
He's going to have great numbers. He's going to throw a lot of touchdowns this year, have a lot of passing yards, but he's just in an unfortunate situation.
Absolutely.
And he's not going to be talked about enough because of the situation that he's in, and I hate that for him. But Sawyer Robertson is going to ball. He himself and that receiving core are going to keep Baylor in a lot of games. But that run defense is atrociously bad, and they're going to have to win track meets, and this is going to be one Saturday. And even though Baylor's going to keep it interesting, I think Sawyer Robertson can have another close to 400-yard passing game on Saturday. But I think SMU has the edge.
I'll tell you this. I don't think that Sawyer Robertson having to throw the ball 49 times a game is a recipe for success for Baylor, but he is capable of winning some games that way, so we'll see.
If there's any guy out there, I mean, there's a few of them, but he's one of those in college football that's built to do it. Not talked about enough as your Garrett Nussmeyers, your Lenore Sellers, your Cade Klubniks, but we're going to bring him up here. I love Robertson, but in the spot, I like SMU. Let's go up to the Northwest coast to Eugene, Oregon. We've got, I feel like every week we have a really crazy point spread for at least one game. Just wait till you hear this thing. So this is an interesting non-conference here. Oregon,
yeah,
Oklahoma State. That the color combo is going to be insane. Maybe just as insane as that TCU North Carolina one the other day.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Oregon State, though. I mean, in a way.
Yeah.
On paper, I mean, where do I begin? Oregon drastically outmatches Oklahoma State. I mean, I love their defensive front. Decorian Moore looks just as good as advertised.
Give me more.
Give me more of more. And the more and more combination.
Yeah, Dante Moore too.
Looked damn good last weekend. And Montana State, like we said, they're a really good FCS program. They just destroyed them. And so maybe that doesn't speak as many miles as it would, if they played Ohio State or somebody week one, but they still held the medal. Oregon looked really good. And you're talking about an Oklahoma State team that, I mean, my God, where do we begin? That roster is so much thinner than it was years ago.
Was it 70 new players they had? Did I read that right? They brought in 70 different players?
There's 70 new players. And then last week they had a terrible blow. Not only do they have a developing secondary right now, I mean, it's still very much in the making, but their starting quarterback, Hoss Hedgney, out for this. I believe he's out for the season. And he's definitely out for this game.
And
And
he might not, and he won the quarterback battle, which is a very concerning thing for Oklahoma State.
yeah, he won the quarterback battle, and it's now Zane Flores's position on Saturday. And Barstool Oklahoma State tried to flex how big his hands were the other day. It was like 9.75 inches. It was one of those Instagram posts where it just has
Bizarre.
a picture of him and it says 9.75 inches. I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about, Jerry Jones? And then I dug into it a little bit more. I'm like, okay, all right, we're talking about his hands. Okay. But that's a bad break for Oklahoma State going into this game in particular here. Oklahoma State struggled last week. And so I can't imagine what this game is going to have in store. You ready for this point spread?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Oregon minus 27.5.
I've seen it up to 29.5 too recently.
And it may go up.
Yeah.
That's where it sits right now. It may go up. And it's just crazy. Like if you said that would have been the point spread on this game like 5 years ago,
Oh yeah.
I would have laughed in your face because Oklahoma State was in a really good spot, and Oregon was, a fringe top 10 team. Mario Cristobal, that's kind of where they were, like getting to the Rose Bowl maybe. You got a national championship contender in Oregon now, so this is a testament to how much this program has grown. That's how much this program is respected by Vegas, but it's how much Oklahoma State has fallen off as well.
Yeah.
I like Oregon to win this thing. I was going to be a little bit more generous to Oklahoma State at first, but I thought about it. I'm going to go Oregon 48-17.
I am right. That's going to be a sweat of a spread for some people then, because it's right on that 31 number. First of all, you've already highlighted more to more. Give me more of that. I want to give Oregon some respect on the defensive side of the ball. Dan Lanning has kind of turned Oregon from a program that you think of as run and gun and playing shootouts to really, I mean, they've got some great guys. Obviously, DJ's brother, Mateo Ungagalele. I probably slaughtered the name, but I know I've had some practice with Tungavaloa and the Hawaiian guys before, Toto. So I'm close. I'm close enough. But Peyton Woodward and I really like the freshman Naeem Offord. I'm disappointed he didn't go to Alabama, but I'm happy to see him doing well here. I don't need to say much more. I am smashing this Oregon minus 29.5 point spread. If it's 29.5, it's 30.5, it's 31. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going 56-13.
Shit. Yeah,
I think this game is going to be a 24 to 30 point game at the half. It's over. Sorry, Oklahoma State. You don't even come out. Montana State made the FCS championship last year. I don't care. I don't care what Montana State might beat Oklahoma State. So I'm smashing the Oregon spread. I'm smashing it.
I mean, it ain't the same. Like you said, this ain't the same Oregon team that we grew up with. I mean, this isn't like a Ferrari anymore. This is a Ford F-150. This thing can handle terrain, go off road, get out of the mud pit.
Yeah,
trailers, go dove hunting. This is
the full 9 yards.
Full 9 yards.
Or 10 yards in Oregon's case right now. The full first down.
This program is legit. I like the Ducks to win big as well. Reminds me a lot of that Tennessee NC State game we got week 2 last year. I just think that this could be a slop fest.
Yeah.
All right. Now this one here. This one's interesting. This was close last year.
It was.
This was, I believe, 30-23 last year, and that was in Tempe. And now, I mean, and to give context, at that time, it wasn't the Arizona State that we came to know.
Right.
It was Arizona State in its primitive stage, and it matured into what it became. The team that almost beat Texas in the Peach Bowl. But even still, the version of Arizona State that we have now, I know it's without Cam Scatterbo, but we still got Sam Levitt, we still got Jordan Tyson. Like this
boy right there, my Heisman coming out, 2 TDs last week. 2 TDs last week.
He's an absolute dog, and this Arizona State roster is still stacked. However, you're going into Starkville. Weird things happen in Starkville. It is deafening in that place with the cowbells.
I've been there a couple times, man.
You've experienced this as Alabama fans. It's deafening in that place. And Mississippi State, I will say, even though they're down as a program right now, when you get these ranked teams coming into town, they play up. And they're going to be ready for this. It's Jeff Levy's year too. I think that Mississippi State's going to keep improving. Now, mind you, they had a bad break last year with Blake Shapen going down, so it was Van Buren for a lot of the year. But you got Blake Shapen back, and I think he's going to have a really good night. I really do. There's the perceived gap, or what I'm trying to say here is the gap between Arizona State and Mississippi State is not as wide as perceived. Going into this game, the point spread is Arizona State -6.5. I think that this is a knockdown, drag-out game. I think this is entertaining all the way to the final whistle. I think it's look a lot like last year's game. There could be some turnovers. There could be some momentum swings. I like Arizona State to win 31-24.
Wow. Okay. So another sweaty game. Vegas is on the money from you.
Yeah.
Vegas is looking pretty good in your eyes right now.
Yeah, me and Vegas are seeing eye to eye. I mean, we had a couple differences last weekend, but right now we're seeing pretty much eye to eye.
So obviously, Sam, leave it to Jordan Tyson, my boy, my dark horse Heisman contender, who had 2 touchdowns last week. I love this Arizona State team, although they didn't look great against Northern Arizona. Just a 38-19 win. I was a little bit disappointed in them, but I will say Kenny Dillingham mentioned briefly before pretty close to when the season started. I want to say a week and a half before that they weren't practicing like they were supposed to be practicing. He said they're practicing like a team that was just average. I think that win is kind of it's a win, and it's a 20-point win, but it's against a very inferior opponent, and I think that's going to be a wake up call for them. State, Jeff Levy. I think Levy's a good coach overall, and I think he's doing the best he can with what he has. I think Blake Shapen's decent. I really like Fluff Bothwell, the South Alabama transfer. Went to Oneida High School in Alabama as well. He's always been good. I've always enjoyed watching him. He had some big games last year. Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think it's going to be close. I do think Arizona State pulls away at the end. Starkville's a hard place to play. I think Arizona State just has too many more go-to guys than Mississippi State does, and I think that's a pretty simple statement to say. I'm not as they had Van Buren last year. I'm not Martin Van Buren for any U.S. history guys out there, but by saying that by any means. But no, I really do think that Arizona State pulls this one out late, and I'm going to go with I'm going to go. I think they keep it close though. I'm going to go 34. I'm going to go 34-20.
Yeah, I think that this game is going to be a sweater.
Yeah,
I really do. Just because of how Mississippi State plays these games at home, it's going to be loud in Starkville. I can't.
it is.
I can't wait. I mean,
this is a night game too, right?
Yes,
I believe it's a 6:30 game.
Under the lights in Starkville. I love this.
Or close to nighttime, sunset game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
nothing better than the state of Mississippi. I love Starkville. I think it's so underrated.
It is an underrated. I went there a couple times. I went for the basketball game, the Bama basketball game last year, and we had a good time. Great barbecue there.
Well, the food's great. The vibe is great. The people are so nice and hospitable. Like if you're somebody who really appreciates and likes the South through and through, you like Starkville. It's a good vibe. So
right,
and they really. I think a good reason why I keep this thing close too is because against Southern Miss last week, the first half was a little bit clunky. Second half, they really got into a rhythm, and I think that's going to carry, especially in the beginning of this game for State.
I agree. I think they're going to keep it close. I don't think they're there yet to knock off a team like Arizona State, though.
No, they're not. They're not there as a program yet. But with Jeff Levy, I really am counting on this program being back here in a couple of years. Mississippi State is. It's not talked about enough, but it's the hardest fix in Power 4 college football.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So, Levy's got his hands full, but I have confidence he'll get done here. But Arizona State gets it done on Saturday, and then
game of the week.
I believe it's the only ranked unranked this week too. It's kind of this is one of those weeks where casuals will call it a down week, especially compared to all the heavyweight matchups we had last weekend. But if you've been watching college football for a long time, you're going to get some freaky ass shit that happens this weekend. And maybe it happens in Norman, Oklahoma as the Sooners take on the Wolverines. This is a matchup between two teams that I think are in a very similar position. Two very reputable programs that have a high profile in the sport that are in what I consider to be rebound positions.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, in particular, off of last season, they had double-digit wins in 23, but really sloped off after last season. But it's important to note that whoa, I'm bleeding like a motherfucker. Oh my god, my leg's bleeding. Whoa. Back to the prediction here. Their wide receiving core is banged up. Their offensive line was banged up last year, so it was for good reason. But they're in rebound mode. They got to get back on track this year, and this is a great opportunity to set that trend against another ranked team, Michigan, against another great program, Michigan. Now, Michigan is in a position where I think that Sharon Moore has done a great job at recycling Jim Harbaugh's culture.
Yeah.
His team is still as tough as usual. They're still as gritty as usual. That's still their profile. That's still their identity. But they don't have the depth. They don't have the developed guys out there like they had on that national championship team. And it's also worth noting Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
This is his first major matchup that he's gone into. He had New Mexico last week. It's under the lights in Norman. Given the dynamic of this week, all eyes are on this game. Everybody will be talking. This will be the game everybody's talking about at the end of the day on Saturday. And so, will Bryce Underwood have a couple rookie moments in this game? Or will he be prepared for this? Will he be dialed in? I think he'll make his share of mistakes. But he's so talented. He'll make shit happen on third down, both through the air and on his legs. I mean, he's great. And Michigan just has an identity, like I said, like run defense. Still going to be really good. Still going to be really good when it comes to toughness, being tougher than their opponent. I mean, that's just their identity. But you're under the lights here in Norman. John Mateer, had a few mistakes last weekends, but I think he'll be slinging it on Saturday. You've got that Jaden Ott and Torrey Blaylock combination. I think that'll be fantastic. I like Oklahoma to win this thing. It's an Oklahoma 5.5-point spread. I like Oklahoma to win 24-17.
Yeah, I'm right there with you at the Oklahoma pick as well. There is a couple things with Oklahoma I have questions about. My biggest question with Oklahoma is where the hell is Jaden Ott? Because last week he had one carry for -3 yards, while Blaylock and Robinson split at 8 carries apiece. I know he's had some health issues in the past at California, but maybe they're saving him, making sure that he's okay. Brent Venables said he's one of the most explosive players in college football earlier today, and I believe that. I believe every word he's saying. I've been a Jaden Ott guy for a long time. I think that John Mateer I think he was number one on my transfer quarterback board. I thought he was exceptional last year at Washington State. I think Oklahoma as a whole is getting healthy. But I'll say, Michigan with Bryce Underwood, I want to see him be a little bit more mobile. I know he didn't have to use it last week thanks to Justice Haynes, the Alabama transfer, who had 165 yards and 3 touchdowns. They're going to be relying heavily on him. He's went there and lost last year under the lights in Oklahoma. And they have Damon Payne on the defensive line as well, the Alabama transfer, who said something earlier. I don't want to get in that where the Alabama football program is right now, but we'll keep it on track right now. I'm right there with you with Oklahoma, though. I think they've got I think they maybe not have the most talented roster, but I think they're experienced enough to get this done. And the Brent Venables defense is always going to be very vaunted and feared. So I actually do think that this game goes a little bit higher scoring. I know that it might be crazy to say, but I do think Michigan might cover. I think that Oklahoma wins 34-30.
It could be higher scoring, honestly. I mean,
I don't know.
I think that with Bryce Underwood, this is all respect to JJ McCarthy. This is the best quarterback the Michigan, even though he's only a freshman, is what he's capable of.
Yeah,
his talent level. I mean, this is a new age for Michigan football, and That's a head nod to Michigan because in theory, a team with their structure right now, with their level of experience, they should be riding around 6-6.
Yeah.
Just because of how sound the culture is there, and then having somebody like Bryce Underwood at the helm, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, I think that this is a game that's very overlooked. I believe in the overall college football playoff conversation. This is a game that I'm very interested in. Really, like this is it's Oklahoma versus Michigan, two of the most storied programs, both on bounce backs. One of these, if Michigan goes in and beats Oklahoma in Norman, there's going to be a lot of talk about another contender in the Big Ten, because right now you're looking at Ohio State and Oregon, and you're kind of like these two, and Penn State, and you're like these three are the cream of the crop. But Michigan goes in there and beats an SEC team on their own field that also looks like one of the best teams in the SEC. It's gonna be some serious conversation.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to it here. I mean, and that's my question too: is what is the conversation if Michigan pulls this off?
Yeah,
What are we saying on Sunday morning when it comes to the Big Ten, when it comes to the SEC? No, it'll be it'll be a can of worms. There'll be a lot to unpack there.
yeah, I agree.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. Oh, Zeke Wager's tuned in right now. He says verbatim, Michigan is a bunch of clowns.
Uh,
Well,
does he? I think he has some bias there, but I'll say the Dolphins aren't looking too hot. So
I'll say I won't disagree with the young man on that statement. I won't full-heartedly agree on air, but I won't disagree. That's a conversation for off the record, Mr. Wager. But yeah, these Dolphins got the Colts on Sundays, so that's going to be a riveting game.
yeah, I will not be tuned in. I don't have a single player on my fantasy team, so I will not be watching that game.
That's understandable. I can't say blame me at all. Well, thank you, Luke, for coming on here. This was
Always a pleasure.
a great show, and I'll keep checking my leg is gushing right now. I really don't know what the hell happened. This is we're gonna have to go into the blue injury tent here in a minute.
This is always a pleasure to come on here, man. If y'all have any comments, any thoughts, always feel free to drop them in the comment section, because Brian, he goes back and looks at them more than me, but I always like to go back and look and see if maybe you might get me to argue with my personal YouTube account. So
I love a good argument now and then.
yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on, Luke, and thank you all for watching. Have a great day.